Okay, welcome everyone. Let me know that you can hear my voice and that you can see the welcome screen. And we're going to get started. Type in where you're from and whether or not you can hear me. So please, a couple of you type in so I know the mic is coming through. I'm not seeing anybody type yet, so I need a few. Great, great, great. Kevin, thank you. Alan, thank you. Okay, so we're going to get started. I want to say hello. My name is Lee Goldstein. That's me. Thank you for coming to this webinar, my favorite time of the year, 4 quarters of earnings, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get going. I'm always excited about earnings season, and it does start next week. The early bird, I call it the early bird earnings. We start to get the banks first, and then we get Netflix is the official biggest mover of the beginning of earnings season, but actually some of the smaller earnings that I'm going to show you and teach you about today are some of my favorites. So let's get started. As the zombies said, it's the time of the season for earnings. All right, my name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please don't forget, it is possible to lose money trading futures. Everything we discuss is for educational purposes, okay? We've got some beautiful graphics that our team created for the webinar. Really nice graphics, Amazon and Meta. Keep in mind that we trade appointment-based trading. That is the methodology we use. We use the Ninja Trader platform, all right? And we trade futures. So when I talk about earnings, I'm not talking about trading the stocks. We are trading futures. It's a unique way of trading earnings that we designed. I don't know anybody else who trades earnings the way that we do. What a great graphic that is. I just love these. Our software that we use, and it's a key part of the method that we use. Our software allows you to get the trades entered in a very safe way right before the earnings take place. So it's very important to use our software when you're going to trade earnings, our method. We have a system, and our system, I'm going to go over what 10-minute trades is, and then I'm going to get very specific for earnings. Every Thursday we have a webinar, and we're doing education, a little bit of sales, but it's mostly education. And every Thursday we cover a different topic. So clearly, this week is going to be earnings, but we need to just go over briefly what we do because there's always lots of new people in all the webinars. So we trade what we call a breakout system initially. We have a complete trading system and it's made up of 4 elements. Now, wouldn't your life change if you could make more in 10 minutes than most people make in a week? Earnings season, more than any other time of the year, offers that possibility because there are some great earnings trades. Now, actually, I want to change this. We could say there's 5 elements. That's fine. It's really 4 or 5 that make up our system. The WMM is our weekly schedule. The DMM is our daily trade report. Many of our events have daily trade reports, not all of them. And earnings in particular, it's very important that you come into the trade room to trade earnings with us. It's a little bit different methodology than just a straight jobs report type of trade. Some of them, yes, they're very similar, but some of them, they're not. And you want to come into the trade room so that you can trade along with us and learn along with us. The third element, of course, then would be Trade Room Access, our news trader software. And I like to separate the magnet software because it's become such an important part of what we do. And it's a phenomenal strategy. The weekly market mover is a free schedule. Everybody can get it for free. just go to our website, www.10minutetrades.com, and you can get the video, how to find 10-minute trades, and we'll automatically then start sending you our weekly schedule. The weekly schedule shows you our trade room schedule. The room opens, all right? On the top, it has the trigger time of the trade. What time does the event take place that we're trading? What time does the trade room open if we have a trade room for that event? Trade trigger, the actual event, and the index we're going to trade for that event, the risk, whether or not it has a daily market mover trade report, and then sometimes there will be notes or a notation that we're streaming on YouTube. This particular week on the weekly schedule, you could see it had quite a few earnings. We had Goldman Sachs, which is actually coming up next week. We had United Health, Morgan Stanley. There were quite a few earnings trades. American Express, Halliburton. Those are some of the stocks that we trade, and we use futures for them. Our daily market mover is a trade report that we send out the day before the event. So if there is a WASD report, or if we have a trade report for an earnings trade, the day before, for instance, let's say Caterpillar, we usually have a report for Caterpillar. So the day before Caterpillar earnings, we send out a possible setup that we're going to use to trade Caterpillar earnings. That's what the daily market mover is. It's a setup, possible setup we're going to use. But when we get to the trade room, there are elements that could change the setup. Maybe the market is so, like, look at the markets today, so volatile that you had to change the way you do things, or maybe not even trade sometimes. Sometimes the markets are unsafe to trade, and you need to know that. So come into the trade room. You may not know by yourself that the markets are unsafe. We are really, really knowledgeable about safety and the markets. We've just upgraded our software. It used to be called JOBB. It's now News Trader. We're on version 11. It's a custom strategy add-on to NinjaTrader. So it installs into NinjaTrader and it becomes as if it's part of the platform. And I'll show you the software. We have multiple setups in our software. It can automate your entries, your targets, and your stops. It's up to you if you want everything to be automated. Sometimes, and many times, a trade is semi-automated. What does that mean? It means usually that the entry is automatic, and then sometimes the management, moving your targets, moving your stop if necessary, that will be done discretionary. So sometimes you'll get filled and then you'll manage the trade. So we call that semi-automated. Our software is an ATM. We call it a super ATM. It's an automated trade manager. Most platforms have automated trade managers. It's a language that you need to learn as part of the platform so that you can tell the platform to trail your stops, to put a stop on the chart, to put a target on the stop on the chart. Well, our software is really easy to use, and you don't have to learn that language. NinjaTrader does have an ATM language, but you don't have to learn it to use our software. Our software replaces that, and our software is very easy to use. Our system is simple. It's time-based. We trade on a schedule. So you choose when you want to trade. You choose specific times. We don't normally do a lot of sitting in front of the screens, waiting for events to take place, waiting for moving averages to cross over. That's not what we do. Magnet trades are a little bit different. They are discretionary, but we know what the best times are to trade those trades. So we still don't sit in front of our computer for hours and hours waiting for magnets. We know when the best times, the most probable times are for those setups to take place. You can schedule your trades up to a month in advance if you wanted to. I like to do it a week in advance because schedules tend to change. And appointment based trading is no riskier than any other form of trading, even though the real name that I would call this is news trading. We don't want to scare people because there's all these old wives' tales about how news trading is not safe. Totally untrue. As long as you have the right tools, the right risk management, news trading is no riskier than any other form of trading. Why do I love appointment based trading? Because I hate being in the market. I don't want to be in the market all day. I want to be in the market as little as possible because over the years I've learned the less I trade, the more I make. Trading is boring. You sit around for hours and hours if you're old fashioned. You wait for a good setup. You miss it if you have to go to the bathroom. We don't trade that way. We know when the news is coming out. We have a trade room 15 or 30 minutes before the news. We trade it and then we leave a few minutes after. What actually triggers an earnings trade? So before we even get into that, let's talk about what are the tools that we would recommend that you use in order to start trading earnings. So the first step is you want to figure out, well, how do I know when earnings are taking place? They don't put earnings on the various calendars. So how do I know when a regular old-fashioned news trade is going to take place? Well, I look at a website such as Forex Factory, right? Forex Factory shows news events for a whole week at a time. We have gone through all the calendars, Forex Factory, investing.com, tradingeconomics.com, and we cull the best events from those calendars, and that's how we come up with our news trades. Then we test them and we back test them. That's how we come up with our setups, and that's how we come up with the best events to trade. But Forex Factory, investing.com, they don't list earnings trades. There is one calendar that does, and it's a calendar that I use, and it's very helpful. Financial Juice is a calendar that does have a limited amount of news trades. Financialjuice.com, you'll notice on the left, they have the items in the news that are coming out, taking place. And you can also set up a news feed for yourself. And they have a streaming news feed that if you pay for the pro version, which we recommend, then you can hear the news in your headset. And they do cover some of the big earnings trades. And that makes it very helpful to use as one of our tools. So Financial Juice is an important tool that we use for earnings trading. But the first and one of the most important free tools that we use, I'll show you right now, is a website called earningswhispers.com. Earningswhispers.com is free. When you log in, you don't even log in, when you get to the website, you'll notice across the top, they have what I call the greatest hits. Tesla, for instance. If you click on it, their earnings will be coming out. Let's take a look. April 22nd at 4:10 p.m. Now, one thing we know for a fact, if you don't study the earnings reports, you will not know the actual time the earnings come out. One of the big things to know about earnings is that they're not regulated in the same way that a government news report is regulated. So for instance, when the job report, the NFP, is released every Friday, such as tomorrow, there's rules. They can't release it early. Now, every now and then it might accidentally get released early, but it's very unusual. And you can count on the fact that the jobs report is going to be released exactly at 8:30 every first Friday of the month, month after month after month. Well, earnings trades aren't like that. There's not a guaranteed time that Tesla is going to release their earnings. But we have studied Tesla, we've studied Amazon, we've studied Netflix, we've studied Facebook, we've studied Meta. We know when those big ones are coming out, we know which ones are reliable, and the ones that we do the best on are the most reliable earnings trades. Now, there are some very cool tips that you can get sometimes from Earnings Whispers. So when you get onto the website, like I said, you get the greatest hits across the top. So click on Tesla. You see Tesla's there. The last time Tesla reported is on the chart. And it shows, even though Tesla is scheduled at 410, actually, it shows that it came out at 409. They were early. Well, we study Tesla quarter after quarter after quarter. We have a time that we put our orders on our charts for Tesla earnings. And for what it's worth, I can tell you right now, Tesla has been one of the more difficult earnings. And one of the reasons they've been more difficult is the quality of the way it moves has not been consistent, and the time they release has not been as consistent as other companies. So they've been a harder earnings trade to take. And we know that, and we let our members know that. But it's still one of the ones we're interested in because, man, can it move the market. And when something moves the market, opportunity is created. So we will watch Tesla. If we don't trade it at the exact moment the news is released, we'll come up with another setup, possibly for right after the news. So whispers.com is a critical free tool that we use all the time to help us create our earnings trade schedule. One of my favorite trades is JP Morgan. And next week, we're going to see that. Netflix, a tough one to trade, but it's one that we always make an attempt. Then, second most important way to use earningswhispers.com is click on the calendar. When I get ready to create my schedule for next week, I'll click on Monday the 7th, and then I'll go through using this little control panel after the market open, before the market open, after the market open on Tuesday, after the market close on Tuesday, before the market open on Wednesday. You could see there's very few companies. It's a very slow week next week, but you'll notice that as we go through the earnings, and let's say you're interested in a company and you're not sure if they're going to possibly move markets. One thing we look for is revenues over $1 billion. We're not that interested in stocks where their revenues are less than $1 billion. If you click on Constellation, we get a stock price. And actually, when I checked the schedule last week, Constellation wasn't on the schedule. So I'm going to be adding them to my schedule for next week because we do trade this particular earnings. It's an expensive stock. It's over $200. It has billions in possible revenue, and it may move the market that we're going to trade it with. So Constellation is one of those events that we are interested in trading. Next week, like I said, that will be an add-on to our earnings. All right, so you go through the calendar on earningswhispers.com, and that helps us to come up with our schedule. That's free tool number 1. Free tool number 2 is TradingView. I like TradingView because I can use the free version, and not every single time, but most of the time, it will show me the stock that I want to trade. I just type the signal in after hours or before the market opens, because that's when most earnings trades take place. For instance, it also tells us another great piece of info. When you click on the stock, it shows us what exchange that stock is a part of as its main exchange. Best Buy is the NYSE. We'll trade that with the YM. Double click it and you will get very often the price of Best Buy. Now, you got to make sure that you're clicking the right info. Today, for whatever reason, I'm not seeing Best Buy. Let's do a different stock. Let's do Apple. And now you can see it might have been it was an old chart that I was using, but I can get the stock price, current price of Apple, and I can watch it while we're trading earnings. So we could see the stock movement when we're in the middle of an earnings trade. That will help us decide maybe we want to stay in the trade a little longer than normal. Maybe we want to get out of the trade faster if it's not a good looking move. We like a move in one direction and then a continuation in the same direction. That's best for earnings trades because an earnings trade is a breakout trade. And the definition of a breakout trade is we put a bracket above the current price and below the current price. And the reason an earnings trade triggers is because the earnings come out, our orders are on the chart in a bracket, and the price explodes in one direction or the other, and it fills us by moving past our order and puts us in the trade. We also have something called a range trade, which is a very, very popular type of trade we use for earnings, particularly retailers, early morning trades, some of the smaller, less explosive earnings trades that we take are range trades. And we have another method for trading those. Every type of trade that you're actually trading really is a breakout. That's the truth. Just how you get to the breakout is different. With a range trade, we're often using time. So maybe we'll have a 1 minute range, and when the range explodes, when price goes through the range and it breaks it on the upside or breaks the range on the downside, then you're really just breaking up or down out of the range. So a range is really just a breakout trade that gets you there in a different way than just using time alone. Time and space, a range, is the difference in a range trade and a breakout. So what triggers these trades are the earnings being released and the change in the price because of the earnings on the instrument that we're trading. Other tools that we use that are very important. We use Thinkorswim, better known as TOS. TOS is a platform that was bought by Charles Schwab. It's probably more than a year and a half already. They bought the Thinkorswim platform, and for $50, you can fund a TOS account. I might as well boot it up. I'll show you my TOS account, my Thinkorswim account. And we use it because they have one incredible feature. They have a news feed that, especially on trades where it's not being covered by any of the calendars, for instance, and we don't know when the earnings are actually being released. Well, when we look at our Thinkorswim platform, and I'll show you, this is the Thinkorswim platform. And on the left here, we have a little news feed, and we can type in any stock symbol that we want. And what happens is the moment the earnings come out, the news feed is updated and we get to see that the earnings are out. When we first started trading earnings, and I know this sounds silly, but it wasn't silly. We didn't know that the earnings were out sometimes. Sometimes there wouldn't be that big of a move, and we couldn't tell from the stock chart that the earnings were out. One of the great things Thinkorswim does, it allows us to set up multiple charts because you have these gadgets. So it's real easy to have an Apple chart, a Lululemon chart. You could have like 3, 4, 5, 6 different charts to look at, because sometimes there's lots of companies releasing their earnings at similar times. But also, what's real nice is you can get that news feed to break out. Also, you can detach the news feed so that we could have multiple news feeds. We could have Lulu, we could have Amazon. You get my picture here. So we could have multiple news feeds. So when there's multiple stocks that we're watching at similar times, we know which one came out first, which one we might be trading. Sometimes stocks release, or they're supposed to release, at the same time. So that way we know for sure which setup is the setup that we should have been in. And truthfully, we usually know, for instance, if Amazon and Intel are releasing the same day, they usually release at similar times, but we usually know, because of our testing, which one comes first, whether it's tradable for both events, or maybe we're only going to trade just one of those events. Those are the things we study. Those are the things we practice, making sure we do the right setup. Getting back to Thinkorswim, for $50, you can open a Thinkorswim account. You can plant your $50 there, and you can use that platform to your heart's desire. Live data before the market opens, after the market closes. So it's a great way to watch stock price for earnings and also get the earnings news, so we know exactly when those earnings are being released. So Thinkorswim is the other free tool, well, $50 tool that we use to trade earnings. A great tool. So just to recap, financialjuice.com is an important tool. Thinkorswim is an important tool. Earningswhispers.com is an important tool. And of course, our software and a membership to 10-minute trades. Trigger categories for regular breakout trades are high impact economic reports. The reason reports move markets is because the report gets released. The news is expected to be a certain number. The news is often different from that number. And when the news differs from what's expected, it causes movements in price. We trade those movements in price. There's 3 big categories of triggers: high impact economic reports like jobs reports, GDP, ADP, payroll report, things like that. Big company earnings reports are another category. Market opens, closes, tweets, statements, things like that, another category. There are hundreds of triggers within those categories. We strive to find the best of those events, and we teach our members how to trade them. The ultimate best of the best are family money trades. Those are trades that if we were going to trade our family's money when we were trading, we would recommend that our family's money is on those trades. Apple is a family money trade. Amazon, Meta is a family money trade. Home Depot is a family money trade. United Health is a family money trade. We have many earnings trades that are family money trades. That means they have a very high probability of success. Why do I love earnings trades? Because the ones that are the best, we know when they're going to trigger. You could trade 1 or 2 earnings trades a week during the best weeks of earnings season, and you could make as much money as some traders might make in 2, 3, 4 weeks on 1 or 2 trades. Sometimes the trades are spectacular, and I love earnings trades because the good ones really move, and the good ones have been very reliable. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of earnings trades. I've gone through what our tools are. You can trade these trades in a prop account, in a cash account. All right. So let me show you a bunch of trades. I've shown you the tools, but I'll tell you what, before we do the trades, let me exit the slideshow just for a minute. I want to show you the software that we use. This is the Ninja Trader platform. All right. The Ninja Trader platform is very easy to use. If you notice, my charts are very clean. They don't have a lot of million different indicators, not a lot of confusing colors. We try to trade as simple as humanly possible. That's our goal. I was saying before that our software had multiple setups. Remember, we said that our software had multiple setups and it can be used in a discretionary manner. Sometimes we enter earnings trade discretionary. We often know what time the earnings are supposed to come out, but sometimes they can't be counted on to be reliable. But we know the market's going to move, and we know there's probably going to be a move within a certain period of time. In that kind of case, we might put on a range trade. It's really easy to put on a range trade with our software. We just click the chart, click the word strategy. It'll come up with choices. We choose News Trader, which is the name of the software, and then we have an item called Trade Type, and we can choose a range trade. Let's say I wanted to create a range between 30 minutes ago and now. So you'll see the range. So let me put time on the chart, and this little clock, we tell our members how to get it for free in our trade room. So let's say that at 12 o'clock we start our range, okay? So we have a feature, range start time. So I'm just going to let's put 12, all right? I'll tell you what, let's put 12. Yeah, we'll use 12. And we're going to end it at 12:35, all right? So watch what happens here. I'm going to leave everything else set. I've got a couple of positions, I've got a couple of targets, and I've got a stop. I'm in sim, all right? And I'm going to end the range. I ended it at 12:35. I started it at 12. And then I've got this other command, ticks above the range, ticks below the range. And this is a very important setup. It's the range trade. And then show the graphics on chart. That's what I have to do to set up a range trade. Everything else gets left alone. I do like to label my trades, and I'll show you why. Range, I apply it and I okay it, and then I enable it. Now, see, I've set it up where we have a range that started drawing a half hour ago. 6 ticks above the range is my order to go long. 6 ticks below the range is my order to go short. Right now, we're in the middle of the range. But if, for instance, Apple earnings were due out in 1 second, the price would explode through the range, through my order, and it would either go up enough to pull me in long, and it might go down enough to pull me in short. And I would have myself a very powerful earnings trade on Apple. That's a range trade. And the range is a very powerful feature of our software. You can create a range for any time of day. And one of the most popular ranges that traders like to trade might be the first half hour of the market. You might start the range at 9:30 in the morning and end it at 10 o'clock and then trade the breakout of that range. So all you would do to do that is go back to your strategy and just change the time. I would make my start time 9:30, for instance, when the market opens, and then at 10 o'clock, I could go back here. Okay, so I've got 9:30, my range starts, range ends at 10 o'clock. I'm going to put 40 ticks above and 40 ticks below, apply it, and okay it. I'm going to move back in time because we're not at the market open at this moment on the chart, but we want to get there, right? So when I enable that trade, It created the range. And if price went above that area, it would have filled that trade. See, it would have gone long right there. And it would have been a very nice winning trade this morning. Notice we had half an hour. The market broke out at 10 o'clock. It was heading up. It was really a continuation more than anything. But that range worked really well. You would be taking your profit, most probably somewhere in there. That just gives you an idea that you could create a range trade for any type of trade. Doesn't have to be just an earnings trade. It doesn't have to be just a breakout trade. It could be any kind of trade that you might design, okay? You can create a range trade based around anything, anytime. We also have trades that you could create using bars instead of time. So I want to show you some earnings trades to give you an idea to whet your appetite for what's coming up over the next few weeks. One of my favorite earnings trades is Home Depot. Home Depot is actually a retailer. Retailers have very nice earnings trades. Here's the way Home Depot often trades. Home Depot is early morning, so we get up quite early in the morning, create a range, as you'll see, and we trade the YM. Now, this was a test. We also sometimes trade Home Depot as a breakout. On this particular trade, we traded it as a range. It burst through the range, and you could see it. It was a profitable trade. We were in the money, and we had already moved our stop into safety. Now we have a little bit more recent Home Depot trade than that one. We started trading Home Depot in 2022. That's how long we've been trading Home Depot. I can only remember one recent stop on Home Depot earnings. And interestingly enough, it was last quarter. That makes me incredibly optimistic for the next quarter, because this is a trade that almost always makes us money. So if you have eventually it has to fail and have a bad trade, but we've had quarter after quarter after quarter of winning Home Depot trades. That particular morning, just trading two little contracts, it was an easy $250, and our targets were actually pretty good that morning. Home Depot, one of my favorite trades. United Health, big health company, a lot of controversy about the company. We're not talking politics. I don't really care when I'm trading about the politics of United Health. I know that as an earnings trade, United Health has been one of our favorite earning trades. Quarter after quarter, we've made money setting up a range on United Health, and the market generally really bursts. There it goes, popping up. We trade the YM on that report. Look at the market. We're trailing. Our stops already in safety. These are the trades. We want to show you how to do them in our trade room. Some of them, especially the early morning ones, are not all that risky and volatile. They're very, very pleasant to trade. United Health, like I said, we've been trading it for years. Here's a more recent one. Let's see how this one did. This was 2024, not that long ago. You just have to be willing to get up early, 5:30 on the East Coast, or stay up late if you're in California. Overseas, it's not a problem. It's probably the middle of your morning. United Health in July of 2024. Real nice move down. It burst through our first target. We moved our stop to safety. We started trailing. It was another great profitable earnings trade. Now look, everybody, you know the truth. Every trade is not a winner. I'm not here to show off losers. We hate losers. We have our share of losers. But we wouldn't be here teaching people how to trade earnings if we had more losers than winners. And we can show that by showing our members prop trades. NVIDIA, Ravi from Switzerland, over $980 in profits. One of the biggest moving earnings trades. No surprise, NVIDIA. That stock explodes on earnings. And it's possible to make $1,000 or more on one NVIDIA trade. Here's an NVIDIA trade that one of our members sent us the video. He made a video of himself trading NVIDIA earnings. Check this out. His orders go on the chart. NVIDIA releases their earnings. You'll see it's going to be about 5 or 10 seconds. The price is moving around. Their earnings came out. We're trading the NQ on NVIDIA. What an explosion down. He has over $4,000 in profit in his account after that trade. But fully transparent, before he started that trade, he had $2,000. So that was a $2,000 NVIDIA trade. Awesome, awesome trade. I believe that quarter we made $1,000 on NVIDIA trading 2 contracts. Another NVIDIA trade, different quarter. I apologize. That's the same one. I can tell by the video. Here was one of our trades on NVIDIA. There's the earnings. You can see we study NVIDIA. We know what time they're going to release their earnings. We know it's going to be at 4:20 when they release their earnings, and a couple of seconds after 4:20. Look at that explosion. That was $1,000 trading NVIDIA earnings. 2 contracts. 2 contracts on the NQ. Trade after trade after trade. I can show you. One of our members sent us his winning screenshot, $735 trading from Anguilla. All right. One of our favorite traders always sends us really nice screenshots of the trades. Meta, one of our favorite earning trades. Really good. Meta is a family money trade. Why? Because it has a very reliable setup. It trades profitably over and over and over. Let me show you a Meta trade, then I'll show you just 2 more. And I want to give everybody an offer to join with us for all of earnings season for the cheapest price. Ridiculous. It's absurd. Let's see if I have a Meta trade. I thought that I did. Give me 1 second. All right, here's one. This looks like it was a $700 profitable. Nope, this one, $1,200 Facebook trade. Look at that move. Exploded up, pulled us into the market. A 1-second trade also, by the way. That was a 1-second trade, $1,200 profit. Then we've got another one, $1,000 profit. Watch. Going to explode again. There it is. Sorry, that was $680, not $1,000. Still, I'll take $680 anytime. One of my favorite trades, although it had been performing poorly for a while, was Apple. The last 2 quarters, Apple has been fantastic. Apple, very reliable. They release their earnings always. Never use the word always with trading. Apple always releases at 4:30 and only a couple of seconds after, if not exactly at 4:30. That was an $840 instant profit in our prop account. Apple has been fantastic. And then I'll end on Amazon because Amazon's also been fantastic. It's just been a giant mover. Very reliable trade. Here it is. Our orders are on the chart. Look at that explosion. That was a $1,300 trade. Boom. Over in a, sorry, it was $1,230. Over in a nanosecond. Amazon has been fantastic to trade. So here's the deal. I want to teach you how to do this. Wouldn't you like to join us for all of our future earnings trades this quarter, plus all of our regular rooms, trap trades, breakouts, magnets, all the news trades that we take over the next month? You'll get access to our news trader software. You'll get access to our daily market mover trade reports. That's worth over $1,000. You'll get access to our pro trade room. Okay, you'll get to come into the trade room every day for all of our trade rooms. That's worth over $1,700. You'll get access to our trap trade software, do all our specialized trap trade reversals. That's a $5,000 value. Trade in a prop account, trade in a cash account. What's included? All of our family money trades, all of our earnings trades, all of our breakout trades, magnet trades, range trades, oil reports, job reports. I will guide you in every trade room step by step how to enter the trades into our software each day so you learn how to do this. Here's what you get just to remind you: news trader software, the magnet strategy software, trap trade software, daily market movers, trade room access, earnings trade rooms, thousands of dollars of products for $20.25. Take our trial for 30 days. It auto renews for 97. If you don't want to continue, just send us an email, help@10minutetrades.com, and say, hey, I don't want to continue. Please end my subscription. Help@10minutetrades.com. You don't have to look around for a button that doesn't exist. Just send us an email if you don't want to stay. $20.25 for 30 days. www.gopro25.com. This offer expires tomorrow night. However, there is one rule. If you are a member, obviously you can't take advantage of this. If you just quit, you can't take advantage of this. You have to be new. You have to have not taken any trials before. Otherwise, just join us. We'll send you the link. $97 for a month. You're going to have more winnings earnings trades that will very possibly cover the $97 easily during earnings season. All you have to do is trade the earnings trades, and the probabilities are great to easily make back your subscription plus a significant more profits if you learn how to do this with us. www.gopro25.com. Expires tomorrow night at midnight. It's a trial membership, but it includes everything that we offer in our pro membership. Our members sent us so many screenshots, everyone. I can just show them over and over. A Caterpillar winner. Not every trade is $1,000, $240 on Caterpillar. $825, one of our members, when it was Facebook, he sent us the screenshot, and I've always kept it. We get great testimonials. Our members thank us for helping them. Sometimes we go through bad trades. This particular testimonial was from Sander, who I thank so much. He's actually in the webinar. He has often sent us nice testimonials thanking us for helping him trade and learning how to do this. Our pro membership includes our news trader software version 11, trap trade, magnet trade software, $20.25. It is an absurd price. www.gopro25.com. Everything is included. Magnet, JOBB, all the strategies. Learn the appointment-based trading method. Choose the events you want to trade. All the earnings trade rooms. We're not holding anything back. We want to teach you. There's no excuse. I'm going to give you my personal guarantee. If you can't learn, I will personally help you set it up in the trade room. You'll come into the trade room during an event. We'll get there early if need be, and we'll go over your setup in front of everybody so everybody can learn from it. And I'll work with you. I'll talk to you specifically and help you and make sure that you can get the trade set up. Promise that we will help you do it. Just $20.25. Does anyone have any questions? I want to thank you all for coming to the webinar. Like I said, it's the time of the season for earnings trades. This is it. We love trading these earnings trades. You will too. let me teach you how to do it. www.gopro25.com. I'll see you on the inside, everyone. Earnings season starts next week. And with the markets as volatile as they are now, this is a great time to be a 10-minute trades member because we also have great discretionary methods that you can learn using our software. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you in the trade room. Take care, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar.